What's up everybody, my name is Javier. Welcome back to Legit Whiskey Reviews, and today we're reviewing Wilderness Trail Small Batch Bottled and Bond. So this company started off around 2006. It's a newer company. It was started by two friends who were, I believe they were in a rock band, and they decided to start making whiskey, and all their whiskeys are sourced. All the ingredients that goes into the whiskey is 100% sourced from Kentucky. So, you know, that's pretty interesting. Everything's local to them. They make 3 different whiskeys. They make the rye. I think it's 100% rye. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what that one is. And then they make single barrel. And the difference between the single barrel and the small batch here is that the single barrel is they switch out the grains. So this one here is it is 64% corn, 24% rye, and 12% malted barley. So in the single barrel one, they switch out the rye for wheat and vice versa. So that's the difference between the single barrel and the small batch here. This one, like I said, it's a bottled and bond. So being bottled and bond, it has to be 100 proof, so 50% ABV, and aged at least 4 years. This one here, I believe, from what I've read, I believe it's aged around 5 to 6 years. So, you know, has a pretty good age. The MSRP on this goes for around $50 to $55. So, you know, it's a little high, but being a small craft distillery, you know, it's pretty good, and they're doing a lot of good things. So let's get into this one. Before I get into this one, I switched up the way I review, well, my scores. Instead of from 0 to 100, you know, I just feel like it works better if I just do from A through F. Of course, A plus being the best, and then F being the worst. So that's something a little different that we're gonna do from now on. Maybe simplify things a little. And this one here is, as well, is a non-chill filtered, so that's always a plus. And it is pot distilled, so that's another plus. I always, you know, that's one of the things from pot distilled whiskeys, I feel like they're way creamier on the palate, and they coat the palate better, in my opinion. So, alright, so let's go to the nose on this one. So yeah, right away I'm getting the creaminess on the nose. It's sticking to the glass pretty good too. It has a nice amber color on it as well. So I'm getting a lot of sweetness up front. It's pretty fruity. At this moment I can't pick out a certain fruit that I'm smelling in here, but I'm picking a lot of caramel, some vanilla, and then I'm picking up the spice. This is a higher rye. I believe it was 24% rye, so that's a pretty good amount of rye there. And then I'm picking up some cinnamon as well. I'm thinking on the front, I'm picking up, I think it's like a light apple type note in there, or a pear. But overall, the nose is really good. I'm also getting a little bit of oak in there too. But yeah, overall the palate is, or I'm sorry, the nose is really good. A lot of good things coming out of the nose, out of the glass. So now let's go to the palate. Cheers. So on the palate, that creaminess is still in there. It's coating the palate pretty well. The fruity sweetness that I got on the nose is coming through a little bit, but not as much as it did on the nose. As soon as it hits the side of your tongue, the sides, it starts coating your mouth, and the spiciness starts. You start to feel the spiciness. You get the cinnamon. I'm definitely getting like a medium oak, and then towards the end you still feel the oak, and then you still feel the spiciness from the rye. I do get some of the cinnamon too, but as far as the oak, I want to say it's going a little bit towards not super bitter, but it's a little, it leaves like, for me, it leaves a little bit of bitterness towards the back of the palate, but let's try it again. It's a little bit drying too. So this second time, it's still staying creamy on the palate. I want to say I got a cherry this time, a little bit of a cherry this time towards the front. It's still staying very spicy, which I like. I feel like it's just a good balance anytime you get a good spiciness from your bourbons. And then that oak is still pretty prevalent in the palate. It's staying in there, so, and it's coating the palate well. I feel like the finish is about a medium to long finish. You know, I still feel it. It coats the palate well. The way it's transitioning in the palate is pretty good. So let's try it one more time before I give it my final score. So yeah, this third time when I sipped on it, I feel like the sweetness died down more this time, and I'm getting more of the spice. I'm getting more of this cinnamon type note in there, and I'm definitely still getting the oak, which is pretty impressive because, you know, this is 4 years old, maybe 5, 6, so I didn't think I would get that much oak from this bourbon, but it's definitely coming through, and it's not to the point where it's super bitter. So I feel like the balance in there with the spice and a little bit of sweetness in the front, it's really a good balance and a good overall drinking experience. So I'm gonna give this one, because I feel like it's hard to find right now, and the price is a little high, because you can definitely find a lot of bottled and bond bourbons out there for way less. I feel like that affects the score for me a little bit. So I'm gonna give it a B+. It's definitely solid, and if you can find it in your area, because it's pretty hard to find, I would definitely say pick it up, give it a try. Like I said, if you like spicy whiskeys, rye whiskeys, then definitely pick up the small batch. But if you like something sweeter, softer, I would say pick up the single barrel. But yeah, thanks for watching the video. Remember to hit that like button. Remember to subscribe. Don't forget to go to my Instagram page at LegitWhiskeyReviews, and keep it legit and do it for the love of whiskey. Cheers.